Hello and welcome everyone to another upper bracket semi-final match of Final Fantasy V Career Day Randomizer. I am Dreiselizer and I'm here with...
Hello, I am Malcreos and I will be your co-commentary today.
Right on. Now this match is FrancoiseHarpie. How was my pronunciation on that? We have a Canadian on comm who can grade my French accent.
That was pretty good.
Versus Alastair0579. Neither of these runners has lost a match yet, so that's why they're in the upper bracket. Winner advances to the winner's final, and loser will drop down to the lower bracket. This is a double elimination tournament, so even if you lose once, you're not out yet, and our racers have begun.
Perfect. Now, it does seem like they're going to obviously do the standard start right in the Kingdom of Tycoon to go and find their first little bit of loot and the first hint. Now, what do you guess as their first available job? I'm going to go ahead and say that it's going to be Monk.
Good guess. I noticed that one of our runners already found the White Mage job, which is nice job to find early on. But I guess I'll guess Berserker just to be sort of trolly. As for the actual starting job, let's see what that ends up. We'll see in just a moment.
Now you're correct that saying that the White Mage found early on is going to be probably an asset, especially if they can manage to find Holy in the sealed castle. It will certainly make their mid game, their early to mid game, very easy.
Wallring found in the castle could prove handy. That can be a useful item in certain situations. And here we're about to see our first hint from the Chancellor. Extus Castle is on the path to the void. I like to see that hint myself.
Yeah, definitely. Now, it's still a little unclear to me whether or not that just means that something in World 3 is required, or if there's just a key item in one of the 3 possible key item founds in
it's
Extus
a Red
Castle.
Mage start, by the way.
Ooh,
found Shote in the castle too. But that hint should indicate that one of the bosses in Extus Castle, either the basement, the warp spot, or the Gilgamesh 4 location, has a key item that is required to beat the game.
All right, so we got Francois heading over to the World 2 already to do some World 2 shopping in Castle Sergei.
And I saw Slash for sale. I think he bought it too.
And free
the
Night
Crystal. This is very, very sort of like Final Fantasy 1 start. We've got Knight, we've got Red Mage, we've got White Mage.
Oh, definitely. We've got
all solid jobs too. I mean, Red Mage is in Final Fantasy V. Mix ability at the Sildra spot for free. Submarine key in World 1 from the Librarian hint. What was I going to say? Oh, Red Mage is just sort of just an adequate mage. Not great, but not terrible either. But basically, the idea of getting X magic is probably a little bit too much of an investment for most players, but they may use Red Mage for other things here and there.
All right, Alastair heading over to Tool. Quite a few early treasures there can get you going. A few shops. Yeah, Dispel right in that chest.
In Tool, which is a really nice spell to get for free, and you already have White Mage, so you can cast it from the start. Alastair thinking about buying Dancer, or maybe making some notes and coming back later.
It could definitely be useful.
Meanwhile, Francois doing the reset of the Chicken Knife Brave Blade check. You can only have one of those treasures. The Luminous suit isn't anything too special. It's a nice mage robe. But let's see what's on the other side. Icebrand Sword for your knight, probably the better pick for early game.
All right. Nothing too outstanding from the beginner house.
Seas of Fleet, Path of the Void. Better write that one down. That was in more.
All right, now for those of you who are new to the Final Fantasy V randomizer, Path of the Void is not unlike the Way of the Hero of the Ocarina of Time randomizer, where it explains which locations you need to go and visit. Now from Tool, we just got the Extet's Castle holds the Hero You Call, which is the key item giving us access to Zeza Fleet, which we now know is on the Path to the Void.
Yeah, so the hints are aligning probably they're actually giving us a little bit too much information at this point about one, potentially only one check.
We got Hunter and Sing available in a shop.
Tempting. Both of those are good.
And Alastair chooses to purchase Sing just in case they manage to find the hero song, speed song, etc. that would allow them to enhance their levels later on, despite the fact that they already do have the mix ability.
We got a hint from Kelger that the Torna Canal is on the Path of the Void, and that's a really early check in the randomizer, so both of our runners will probably be headed there quite early. Well, Windfox is faster because I have to wait for my turn to speak.
Well, my apologies.
No, not at all. This is just how commentary works. We try not to step on each other's toes too much.
Nothing else significant in the shops.
Okay.
Perhaps the equip katana could be useful if they happen to find some good katanas in the sealed castle, a location that none of our runners have checked yet. Probably for the best.
Katana would be maybe something I would write down and not necessarily buy, although it is cheap enough that you could just buy it and save yourself the time of writing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for people who aren't used to this randomizer, the movement speed is very fast. You can run around at a very good clip, and that's a big part of the randomizer, is sort of trying to be under control as you blaze around everywhere.
I did see in a shop. Oh, my apologies. Okay, just meant to say I did see in the shops earlier the mute sword magic available, but I didn't notice if any of our runners actually purchased it.
I would hope so, because it is okay. Catastrophe at the Bal Castle Gate was a quick reset for Francoise. The mute spellblade is cheap and useful, so why wouldn't you buy it, right? That's kind of my attitude whenever I see it.
Exactly. It's only 150 gil, I believe, and it's usable from a very low magic sword ability, and it's, like you said, incredibly useful. Can save you a lot of pain if you come up against Omniscient.
Yes, and it was mentioned in chat that the Chemist Pyramid Page World 3 hint, better write that down before I forget. Not a very specific hint, but it might matter later. It was mentioned in chat that the chemist job was available. I think both racers grabbed mix, but I can't be 100% sure about that.
I'm not sure if Francois headed over to the Pirates Cove yet.
Maybe not yet. Okay, so Rugor said anti-barrier world 1. I missed that, but thank you in chat. That's a big, important hint. The anti-barrier is required to get into Extes Castle.
Ooh, chicken knife available in the sealed castle, instantly being grabbed by Francois.
The all-powerful chicken knife. Ragnarok also for your knight, and he did not hesitate to grab that either.
And there's Giltos. We'll definitely come back to that ability for the end game, however.
Sage
Early on,
staff
it's not
for
quite
the white
necessary.
mage could be useful. X magic, my gosh. Oh, he grabbed X magic. Yeah, there's a lot of powerful stuff in here. In fact, he might not even have looked at it all, but he's got 3 things, so it's time to move on.
Yeah, definitely a lot of value in that castle. Now, the chicken knife instantly being grabbed for those of you watching. The chicken knife is a very powerful weapon. In the vanilla game, I believe it gets more powerful as you run, but I think this has been as you run away from battles. But this has been modified, I think, in the randomizer to already have its strong power. Though every time you attack, it does give you a chance of running away every time you use it. So this causes you to lose your turn against bosses if that triggers. Though there are ways to bypass that ability. Or that
we'll
downside.
see if our runners pick up a cheap job like, well, you can use dance, you can use build up, you can use mug.
Correct.
Or actually,
now
it might be called capture in this to override the run.
I just saw Alastair grabbing finding a Lamia's tiara. I believe Francois also has it, as he's already been into Castle Surrogate. That would allow them to take the dancer class with the tiara to give them a 50% chance to use a sword dance while using the dance ability, and with that chicken knife, making it cause extreme amount of damage. Oh, I hadn't noticed that the Time Mage crystal was in the back of Tool as well.
I didn't notice that either. Maybe the other person who checked Tool skipped that check or something. But Time Mage is a really nice early mage job to have, because I'm seeing a lot of... I would take that over Red Mage, probably, in a lot of cases. Okay, they both got it, says Pyromance. But that's really nice to see. And I agree with you that the chicken dance could be great early damage strategy with that, wearing that tiara on your dancer.
And we do have chat saying that they found red shoes for sale as well, which would be ideal for their dancer, because it would allow them to still wear a ribbon if they come across it.
Yes, indeed. Back attacked by a goblin, but it doesn't matter. Chicken knife destroys. That ice shield is nice, and it's also worth a lot of money if you're ever short. You can see our racers are doing a lot of shopping, snapping up a lot of good spells and equipment, selling a lot of stuff. That's a big part of this randomizer, is getting rolling, getting money, and taking good advantage of the shops.
It's true, especially since knowing that they've already got mix. They've got access to Guild Toss. That means for their end game, they'll likely be looking to have at least enough mixed materials in order to be able to boost their levels up to a high enough level, over level 82, in order to be able to Guild Toss down the final boss. And that would require them to have enough Gil as well to be able to afford using all those abilities. So they definitely don't want to turn down any free equipment. Ooh, Speed Song available in a shop, as well as Deathclaw.
Some nice white spells and Deathclaw. That's a nice shop right there. Francois has entered the Wind Shrine, is changing his battle speed and such, but this is going to be probably our first boss fight of the seed coming right up.
All right, now the bosses in this randomizer do scale based on their location. So you may end up finding an end game boss. So we do find an early tier boss there. Magisa instantly disappears.
Also, there was a hint. Burning areas have nothing of value, which is an interesting hint. means that both the Karnak Castle Escape, which is a burning castle, and Moor Forest, which has a forest fire and burns down, should not have required key items. There still is a chance, though, that Moor Forest could be required because it opens up a fork tower later.
Correct. And it also doesn't erase the fact that the steamship that leads to the Karnak Castle also might be in logic. But I did notice on Francois' side that he did find some really good value at the end. Summon level 3 Sildra out of that wind shrine, so definitely a good place to check.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go, Francois finally checking the pirate cave and going to get the free mix. You pretty much can't miss it in this spot. It forces you to go check Sildra. So we've got actually some decent hints at this point. We kind of know a lot of where we need to go, although we'll probably be doing some just World 1 checked to gain levels and hope to get a little bit lucky and maybe get an important tablet or other key item.
Mm-hmm. Alastair going to the sealed castle. We'll see what kind of equipment they choose to pick.
Yeah, Alastair, it'll be an interesting decision here because they have...
I suspect the chicken knife for sure.
I mean, sometimes you just look at everything before you grab anything at all. So
definitely. Oh, opting to go with Giltos.
All right, it's an option. I've seen it done pretty well. Quick reset by Francois. In fact, I didn't note where he was, but it was a panda here at the Tycoon Meteor. Is a little bit too much to take on at this point. But we know that the canal's on the path, so why not go there, right? There we go. You can Giltos through the whole seed. You just might be a little short on money at the end, so you got to be a little conservative with it. Oh, we have the triplets. Can we slash them? They should have low magic evade this early, but you also can miss with the slash, and that can cause problems. So Francois is going to have to, you can use Cure 2 on these. The second slash completely missed. This is not looking great. I'm not saying it's over or anything, but this Delta attack, if the last pig gets one off, you want it to be, it had a chance to be bounced back onto them if it had hit the person wearing the wall ring, but Francois reset, so we don't know what would have happened. It looks like he's just going to RNG, try the same thing again here.
Garlisle, they do have a way to get the way to avoid the run with the dancer being in shops. Personally, I probably would have made that investment instead.
Yeah, I like the idea of a dancer because you have a sword dance item. 50-50 isn't bad at all for basically enough damage that could probably just kill any of these early bosses.
All right, Alastair heading up to the Hiryu Valley.
And we have a slash that I think killed them all at once this time. So RNG was in Francois's favor that time. And the anti-barrier, which we knew was already there, but now we have it. And Francois is continuing on to do the ship graveyard, which is full of loot and another easy boss at the end. Yeah, sometimes it's a racer's personal preference. Nice to see a dark matter for free early on. On jobs,
especially with their access to mix already, it would allow them for an easy death potion.
Absolutely. I would save that for a difficult boss that you can't take out easily any other way. If you've got damage, you don't want to waste a death potion on an early low hit point boss, but some annoying bosses can be a real problem, especially later on, and it's a great way to get rid of them because death potions never miss, I should say, as long as the enemy is vulnerable to that status. But what I was going to say is that some of these decisions are personal preference. Like when I made like sort of a rating of jobs in the randomizer, and I put both Knight and Dancer right next to each other in terms of value. Now, that's just my opinion, but I think some other people might agree. And so, some people might prefer to use Knight here. Some people might prefer to use Dancer, and that's part of, the beauty of the randomizer. Carbuncle hurts. If you have Phoenix Downs, you're probably okay. Or you can just have the last person standing try and do the attack to kill it.
Ooh. Unfortunately, taking out
his down.
His slasher, the other one does not have it.
And you could try to X magic maybe if you've got enough, like a couple bolt or fire twos here. Is the okay? So this should be enough. It's 850 you need to do here. Oh, only did 830 with a low damage roll, but it doesn't matter. Do it again and you win. Oh no, out of MP, he's gonna have to attack directly.
That's all right. Looks like his Gallif was equipped strong enough to be able to take him out with
brand. Yeah. Okay, so just a strength suit, which is a nice piece of armor, but not a key item or anything. And we move on from the ship graveyard.
Now, I am kind of curious, as Alastair seemed to still be using, 3 red mages. Not necessarily, to see that. Especially since they already grabbed X magic from the sealed castle, which is basically the only thing that a red mage brings to the table. I would probably opt out and put in the white mages. I bought rods?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rod breaking is powerful, and red mage is fast. That's one advantage that it has. It's just got a good agility stat. So it can work out okay for you early on. The rod damage is not as high as if you were, say, a black mage or a summoner or something, but it's high enough that you'll probably be fine here. Francois headed back to his airship. I thought he might be going up North Mountain, but no. Instead, headed to the Waltz Meteorite, which is a high experience location. So a lot of people like to do it early. And some nice finds in the Wind Shrine that I didn't pay attention to before. Summon 3, and then Sildra, which requires Summon 4, is also quite nice.
Mm-hmm. Summon 3 would allow them to use that golem that they found in shops earlier if they choose to spend the money on that. Golem being an extreme lifesaver, probably especially in fights against Timmy over here on Francois' side.
Timmy, okay, so this slash has not a great chance to hit, but it might hit. So again, we might have another RNG battle over on Francois' side where he just resets and does this again until it works. With that ice brand, you can do decent damage to Timmy with just a Knight. It won't be a one-hit kill, but maybe a couple hits. Another option.
Alastair making their way
everyone
through
in the back
canal.
row maybe for the next attempt, and hopefully maybe you can live a little longer.
This would be a good use of their gill toss.
Yeah, gill toss here, or break a lightning rod, or slash. Might need to break thunder rods, I guess they're named. A free golem. They're going with Ramu, which is nice, and that's almost enough to win. One more will do the trick.
Ooh, two
One
down,
more
one to
attack
go.
here. Yeah, just cast Ramu and it's over.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so Alastair gets through that fight first try. Francois did not go straight back to the Waltz Meteor fight. Instead, he's checking some shops, and he's going to probably do the Waltz Castle fight first instead, which is the Shiva location from Vanilla. There's also a hint in here, so let's keep our eyes open for that.
All right, Alastair making their way through the ship graveyard to face the Siren location at the end.
Bracelet World 2.
It's in World 2.
That could be...
That could be the Zeza Fleet hint that we received earlier,
oh
which might mean that they have to go into Exdeath's Castle to make the first check in the basement, get the Hear You Call, step out of it, and then go into Zeza to be able to explore the rest of the castle. That would be quite a tricky play.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility. Francois actually warped out of Waltz Castle, so is not doing the boss check. Or only went in for the hint. Oh, maybe he's just going to go back and enter for the boss check now. Okay. I think
Perhaps
what
he
I
feels
would
that
do
this quicker.
Yeah, maybe if you... It's not that far to run around. There's not that much backtracking to get there, but sometimes just because of the pathing that you have to take while you're running around, sometimes it's easier to just warp shard out and then enter again and not have to deal with some of the tricky movements. So here we go.
Here you
simultaneous fights.
Both of them slashable at some point.
And Francois did slash all but one of the flowers and plants, so that was a quick victory. Alastair
Trimming the
is
hedges
doing well against Carbuncle. Yeah, a good hedge trim there. Alastair has weakened Carbuncle, so now he's using other spells like Break and Doom. But one more good hit from the Knight should finish this off, but the Knight just got stoned. And
Opting to do a reset.
I'm sorry, Alastair is doing a soft reset there. We'll try again against Carbuncle, I think. Yes. So my typical move is not to attack Carbuncle at all and then just do the instant kill if I have it. But in this case, it doesn't matter that much whether he uses Break or Doom or Bolt 2 on you. They're all going to one-shot and kill your characters. So you can kind of do it any way that you want. Rod Break works on Carbuncle, but you'd have to wait for it to drop its Reflect status. So lots of things work on it once it's weak. You just have to get to that point in the fight. No, rods don't go through Reflect, so that would bounce back on you if you broke it too early. Chimera Brain on the North Mountain, I believe, is correct. Francois tried to slash it, missed, but this technique can work. Second slash worked.
Slash really carrying our runners here through the early game. Finding ourselves a Guardian.
Guardian Dagger is a nice thing to have around, just for a little extra blocking and safety. So Alastair... Now, Francois went through this same sort of situation against Carbuncle, where you just have to wait and do a thing. Oh, it doesn't have the end for Shote. But breaking a rod would do it. I think it would be enough damage.
No, opting to reset again. Probably going to rest.
Yeah, just
to be able to get their...
if you have one.
Yeah, I believe it's... that's right. They made change to their equipment, which increased the amount of MP that they had, but unfortunately did not rest afterwards. So they weren't able to cast the cast Shote for that guaranteed kill.
Yeah. That was unfortunate. Alastair played it right that time and then just didn't quite have the MP to finish the fight. Meanwhile, Francoise is at another meteor here. I think this might be Karnak.
Seems like there's definitely the Karnak meteor, the Titan location, where we find Guardians.
Crystal Guardians. This can hurt. Yeah, they're hitting pretty hard. Now, you can slash them, but you need to survive. This might just be a quick reset and then back row slashing or something. Although slash also can miss quite a bit in this sort of situation because they're very high level. And they also have some decent magic evade, whereas level 9 to 11 characters, it just hurts your odds to be at such a comparatively low level.
There we go. Demon Eye going through. Carbuncle going down.
And we know that this is not anything special here, just a strength suit. But,
correct.
Alastair is clear. Francois setting up his team to try to have better success against the Crystal Guardians. And attempt number 2 here. Yes, yay shields. Yay shield blocking. Let's get some more of that. And some slashing.
The Berserker job available for sale in Carwin. I'm not sure if Alastair actually picked it up. I know certain people in the community do favor it.
The first slash missed every single Guardian.
Ooh.
Unfortunate. But Francois set up to cast Golem. So now Golem is blocking all of these Crystal Guardian attacks.
We do have one Magic Sword level 3 in the back of the pub of Carwin. Going to allow them to use Mute Blade, Sleep Sword, all those abilities that they have access to that would give them a lot more options.
Utility. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the slashing over on Francoise's side again. The chance to hit is just a little bit low here, so he's going to have to keep at it. But as long as he doesn't run out of MP, recasting Golem and stuff should be fine. Looks like he's out of MP on that though. Going to have to hope for some slash hits here soon.
Yeah, at this point now, opting to go into melee.
Attack
unfortunately,
mode.
with his characters in the back row, won't be doing quite as much damage.
Yeah, that's sort of the difficult decision you have to make. Do you want to just keep slashing and potentially missing, or do you want to attack directly and do not that much damage from the back row?
And Chimera Brain going down very swiftly with Demon's Eye.
Nice. Garlisle in chat, the magic evade doesn't have anything to do with the boss that was there. It's just sort of evenly scaled from the first to the last spot in the rando. So this spot should have. I'd have to look it up. I actually don't think that the Crystal Guardians have a scaled magic evade. Some bosses don't. So it's mostly their high level, I think, that is causing the problem. But Francois got through.
Which I did notice.
Yeah.
I believe there was nothing of value there.
Yeah, I didn't notice either. I'm going to assume that unless chat tells us otherwise. The magic evasion in the randomizer is not something that you can see in-game. You can go to the wiki and then there's a link to the GitHub that can give you more information about that, but it actually is something pretty important to understand because the way that it works, because it does have a pretty strong influence, as you can see there, as to whether some of your instant kills will work or not, or at least the chance of them working.
All right, Alastair making some changes to their party, opting to remove their red mages, swap them for time and white mages. I definitely agree with that, because if you were going with the red mages only for the use of rods, then you might as well have had your time mages there with X magic, giving you access to exactly the same spell list that your red mages had.
Yeah, why not, right? And the you can also, this is a great time to break a rod against a fire rod against a panda. If you have that rod, that could potentially end the fight in 1 or 2 rod breaks here, I think.
They do have X Magic Comet as well, which would give them sort of a discount Meteo.
Time Mage is using haste, best status in the game, Knight hitting really hard, and the panda goes down.
Francois heading over to the catapult to be able to unlock the Lock a Meteor check as well afterwards.
Freddie in chat said Big Bridge Path of the Void. How did I miss that? Where was that hint located? Oh, library. Okay, thank you. I was looking away.
So sub key acquired for Alastair in the Tycoon Meteor.
Oh, well, I saw that the sub key... Oh, okay. We just knew that it was in World 1. We don't necessarily know if we need it beyond that. Level 3 Flare is a nice spell to grab if we ever get the chance to use some blue magic.
I definitely try to acquire my blue magics, even if I don't have it quite yet. In the event that we get it eventually, it's just so useful. Slash going to be useful here against the Sergeant and
more
Karnax.
slashable bosses here. The Sergeant is usually a pretty easy one. Although if you use Slash, you're not necessarily saving the animals, whereas if you just use Shoat, the animals are saved.
Unless he chooses to slash them anyways. Poor dogs. The wolves would eventually run on their own.
One dog escaped, so one animal survived. I'm not going to say saved. Survived.
Elder Branch from Catapult.
Interesting.
Now, like we got the hint earlier, burning is not on the path. It does not hold any key of value. However, perhaps Fork Tower will.
And the Waltz Meteorite has the Falls page, which, I mean, we do have subkey. At least one of our runners does. That might be something we need to deal with later. Ooh, Minotauros. Physical team versus a physical boss. Who has the most power? You can't put your golem up here, so you just gotta swing your sword and hope for the best.
Lena surviving barely.
1 point and chicken knife attack hits this time, and Francois wins. You don't want
not
to have
before
that
Lena
fully
pays with the
bounce
rest of her
back,
life.
by the way. Yeah, he was determined to take out Lena, but it's better than if it had hit Butts, because then that would have bounced back onto him and healed him because he absorbs the holy.
Ooh.
Have fun, Garlisle. Hope to maybe raid you guys later or something.
I'll start doing their shopping in Waltz. Picking up some high potions.
I didn't see a key item from the Lanka Meteor, unless I missed it.
Neither did I. Francois dipping into the Wind Shrine for a free heal from the healing waters of that pot.
Bracelet World 2. We probably saw that hint already, but I might have missed it.
We did. We did. That's where we suspected that perhaps it was on Zeza Fleet locked behind
Yes.
the basement.
If that's the case, that's a bunch of hints all about the same thing, which you don't love to see, but it would be an interesting scenario for us as viewers. Okay, so Francois going after a panda. I would maybe just put up Golem. Yeah, here, that's what he's going to do. Francois going with the wall ring strat. Hasn't burned him yet. Sometimes it can burn you, sometimes it can be helpful. It's kind of a difficult to predict kind of play.
Chicken Knife not playing kind for him, though.
Oof, yeah.
Twice in a
Getting
row.
bad RNG rolls. But Arts hits hard with that Ragnarok. And that's good enough.
Alastair heading over to the Shiva location. And Francois getting his submarine key.
Alright, so both runners have access to quite a lot with that submarine key, or will have access to quite a lot a little bit later. Not really worried about it at the moment, especially since we haven't gotten any hints about needing to go to underwater areas or anything, but we'll see how that turns out later. Ooh, Alastair was probably using double grip ability on Knight for the extra sword damage. That was a beefy sword swing by Bartz.
To address chat, yeah, Final Fantasy V Career Day is a Final Fantasy V randomizer, where when you start with a one random class, are able to find jobs and abilities in chests and shops, and key items are redistributed throughout the bosses, giving you a fresh play every time.
Francois just took down the antlion at the sandworm location, got the big bridge key, which is required. So, Sandworm Desert paying off. This could be an opportunity to head to World 2 soon and do the big bridge check. We know it's Path of the Void, so...
It's also an easy location, despite the fact being a World 2.
Yeah, I would agree. Relatively easy. Yep. Only like
6,500.
Did I say Sandlion? Antlion. Antlion was in sort of a fitting place since it was in the desert. It tends to be sort of a desert type enemy where they make their nests in the sand.
All right, Francois is returning to the meteors that gave him some trouble earlier.
Okay, I doubt he'll have quite so much trouble this time. Hemi gets slashed the first try this time. Well, there's RNG for you. A bunch of experience. And speaking of potential slash bosses, Alastair taking on Crystal Guardians. This is always a really rough opening. Oh, Guild Toss works. That's a great use of Guild Toss right there.
Definitely.
Shotting the boss. That's a quick victory. And Francois has headed, I should say, to the big bridge in World 2. So we're about to see a required check here.
We got a second Lamia Tiara from the Guardian location as well. Leviathan. Not a bad location to find him.
Yeah, I mean, you're just attacking physically here. He may entangle you, but As long as not too many of those counters go off, you should be in decent shape. You can survive an Aqua Rake, one Aqua Rake here, if he decides to use that. His physical hits are hitting quite hard. It's going to be a close one whether Francois has the damage to win here. Well, the right person was attacked. As long as it's not Bart's, this might do it. No, not quite.
Looks like
there.
just one short. Ooh, Bart's with the lucky block.
Shield block, really good. Oh,
Alastair
the Ferris
dipping
gets
into the
kill with
library.
a little knife hit. Okay, and trench page. Oh
Ooh.
my! So that sub key was required because the trench is on the path. Wow, that one's gonna take a little while to pay off, but eventually we'll go to the trench and we can get 3 more hints there. So I never hate having to go to the trench.
Also, 2 very good shops. A fairly easy check there. So, like you said, trench is always a fun location for me.
Yeah, I like it better than, say, the pyramid and the island shrine. Although that's sort of personal preference. Nothing in the first half of the library that I can tell from Alastair's side.
Francois heading back into the Balcastle check to take on Catastrophe, probably hoping to find the Hear You Call in this location. Or the bracelet.
Yeah, let's see. We have the barrier, so you could also do X-Death Castle basement. I'm sorry, the anti-barrier. Did I say barrier?
Easy fight from there.
Yep, got through it. The Balcastle Gate is pretty much the easiest in terms of hit points. Ooh, Mirage Radar. Interesting. That's more hints.
More hints, more shopping. Unfortunately, more options.
Yeah, that's, again, something we'll think about a little bit later, but it's nice to have in your pocket if you need it. But yeah, the Balcastle Gate was the easiest hit point check in World 2, so why not do that?
Alastair taking on the Sand Lion to borrow Kigalis's portmanteau. The Ant Lion at the Sandworm location.
Mm-hmm.
Easy victory.
And that big bridge key. Now, how long will it take for Alastair to follow that, I wonder? Like they're using the warp shard right away and probably headed right to the big bridge, so not long at all. Meanwhile, Francois is doing another sort of quick, usually easy check in World 2, ungated check, the Moogle Waterway. 5,000 hit point location, so again, not too tough.
Yeah, looking for that bracelet in World 2 or level 5 Dune Magic in
Nice find.
Francois' side.
We
I'll start
don't
making
have any
quick
blue,
work.
I don't think, but eventually we might.
Oh, sorry. I was a little confused there. I didn't notice Alastair going into the big bridge from the opposite side.
I think it's actually a little bit faster to go in from the west side, but it's a negligible difference. I mean, depending on where you're coming from, I just sort of tend to land at the closest side. If you're coming from the warp, you could technically land on the left side and then go in and press down, and it's a little bit faster to get into the fight than from the other direction. Okay, Francois going against Soul Cannon will probably kill it before it gets a chance to fire, I guess, and it's already dead.
Leviathan picking on Ferris.
Yeah, the Leviathan Waltz Tower key, interesting. We don't know too much about whether that is required at all. But this Leviathan fight was not an easy one for Francois, so it also could be trouble for Alastair. If they have Thunder Rods, that's actually a really good thing to break against Leviathan because it's not treated as magic, so it doesn't draw the magic counter. But okay, Alastair has won.
Francois choosing to follow that Walls Tower key right away. I'm not sure if I would have done the same. Since we have absolutely no idea. It is a quick check, but we have no idea if it is a value. But we do know that the barrier is in World 2. And currently, nothing is stopping us from making any of the World 2 checks.
Yep,
we do have Barrier Tower available. We do have the basement available.
Yeah, checking Walls Tower is very much just a sort of runner's decision kind of thing here. It may pay off. If lucky, it may mean nothing and cost you a little bit of time. Kind of just how you feel at the moment. We don't have any further information about it being important.
Pyromance, I don't disagree. Though we know that it's not going to stop the runner from heading up through Exodus Castle, which then will give them access to more hints, which might allow you to focus on your moves. But like we saw, it was a very small detour.
There is loot, though. These shards, they didn't really pay out very well, though, I would say. I mean, you get 5 pieces of loot, plus whatever the boss gives you. So maybe Francois was even just thinking about that as a possibility, too. But they didn't turn out to be anything too special. So he is headed to Exodus Castle. First runner into the castle, checking the basement.
And Alastair taking on Catastrophe right now. Taking it out fairly easily, I believe. Just a few comments and a slash.
Now, just to be clear here, Mal, you did predict the possibility of a bracelet in the castle basement, right?
I did. Oh, well, I'm predicting a Hear You Call in the basement, which would lead to the bracelet.
Ah, right. That's even better.
It's even more sadistic.
Yeah, but you know what? I think there's a decent chance of that happening now. You don't slash Ifrit. We like to shoot him because he can be turned to stone. There you go.
This is
instant kill.
Either Hear You Call or well, no, that's not true. I can't say that because there's still Barrier Tower available. But
imagine if we had to go to Barrier Tower and use that sub to get the Hear You Call. But no, you were right. It is here in the basement.
They don't call me Malstradamus for nothing. Nobody calls me Nostradamus.
Nostradamus has the. Maybe somebody will call you that now. Okay, well, it's time to chase that check a little bit further. On to the Hear You. Meanwhile, Alastair is checking Hear You Valley, different location. We don't have any hints about it being required or anything. Again, this is just another one of those runner decides they want to do that check kind of checks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Carlibos. It would be so nice to use that level 5 Doom against him, but unfortunately, I don't think Alastair or either of our runners can actually cast the spell yet.
Yeah, I don't believe blue magic is available, but X Magic Bolt 2 slowly but surely will whittle down our lobster friend.
Yeah, it's just going to take a little while because this does have some significant hit points here. At the Hear You Valley, it's 12,000 hit points, so it's going to take a little while.
On the Francois side, there's a good chance that this is going to be the bracelet. However, if he is lucky, it will actually be another tablet, which will let him get the bracelet in the barrier tower and not have the hints converge like that.
Yeah, if I were him, I would be rooting for a tablet just because you don't want all your good hints to just go away and
or even another
not
key
be
item.
usable anymore.
Oh, adamantite.
Adamantite, unexpected. Man, the chain. This is a long chain.
So that puts the barrier tower inside. The bracelet inside the barrier tower. If I'm tracking this correctly.
Well, there's a chance that it could be in Floating Lanka. I mean, there are 2 checks there, but it probably.
But we know it's in World
right.
2.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's not that many checks left.
Oh, never mind.
Now,
It was in
Alastair
Hiryu Valley.
Oh, got the bracelet. That's unexpected. No hints, no mention of that. Just a sneaky bracelet at Hiryu Valley. Okay, then.
Oh, but that's good.
Brando
That's good for
throwing
Alastair.
Everybody for a loop. Yeah, Alastair now has an advantage over Francois, whereas I would have given the lead up to this point to Francois. Now Alastair has something on him, so we'll see how that works out.
Chat hoping for a double, a Flying Lanka of double value. We'll see.
That would be interesting as heck. Quite a few hit points here at the entrance to Flying Lanka. So it's going to take a little while to beat Atmos, but once one person is down, it's not really too much of an issue. Just attack.
Yeah, that's right. Atmos, being a boss that will instantly try to destroy your characters with Comet. If you're unlucky, you will cast it twice on 2 different targets. Ooh, there's the 3rd tablet. We'll see if he backs out right away or continues to explore. No, choose to explore.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard move to do both of the checks there, even if you find something good at the front.
But yeah, Atmos, deleting one of your characters, but once the character is dead, we'll spend most of the time just trying to drag that character into its maw. So as long as you don't try to keep reviving, you're perfectly safe.
Now, Alastair somehow is continuing on up Exodus Castle. You don't see this too often, but happens to have the bracelet and maybe feels strong enough to beat Castle Extep even.
At this point, I would be a little nervous with the amount of equipment they have, but with X Magic and Comet, Haste might be able to.
Ooh, I wouldn't want to be stuck with Comet as my main damage against Castle Extep myself, but yeah, there's great loot in here, which is a nice point by Vaughn in the chat. If nothing else, you're probably going to get some good stuff and some levels and such in here. Abductor is a nice. Oh, sorry, this is not the Abductor boss. This is a.
No, that is not the
roulette
boss.
room Abductor. My bad.
Correct. Still taken out in the similar way.
Yes.
Ooh,
missed again. Roulette room can be trouble.
Oh, did they pick up image? Unfortunately, that I do not know. We'll find out once they enter their white mage spell list.
That's a spell that I would definitely buy if I had early. Ooh, Mystic Knight in that treasure chest. Interesting.
I do enjoy Mystic Knight, especially if you can get your hands on X-Fight. You can definitely attack bosses' weaknesses. Quite a lot of damage.
Twin Tanya, okay. All you really have to do here is survive, and then you can shoot or slash it. So Francois should be okay, but might need some healing, like high potion or something on someone.
Twintania needing to require 5 turns before it is weakened while charging their beam. Kind of funny to find it at this location where it takes at least 5 turns in order to kill the original boss, as you need to kill it 5 separate times.
True.
To move it through all the phases.
There's an interesting symmetry to that here. Okay, waiting for the message and shoot, and it worked. Okay, Alastair going, finding Shote at the Carbuncle location. You kind of need some specific things. You can use the stop spell and then do some immediate attacks afterwards to not get countered by Shote. Other than that, I don't really see a great way to win here.
Is there, maybe refresh my memory, does he also counter magical spells cast on him?
Normally, yes, but not the stop spell, because it stops him, and that stops the counter as well. Yeah. But also, it looks like Alastair just has some softs and is doing big damage with a double grip knight.
Yeah, I would probably
stop strats.
There you go.
Hit attack. No counter.
Easy.
Very nice.
Could also cast Shell on his attacker. Won't guarantee to be protected from the Shote stone, but it could definitely help.
Yeah, that cuts the chance in half for that counter to hit. So that's always nice.
Yeah, but very well done to adopt that strat right on the fly.
Yeah, that's some good game knowledge there. Shote doesn't really have very many weaknesses, and the stop spell isn't something that you end up using all that much in these races. Nice
and easily go down.
Shote. That was a really nice combo.
Very clean.
Yeah, 2 different time mages able to cast Shote. You can sort of stagger their ATB and make it work out with your hasted knight.
And somehow, Shote all Shote had to offer was a gift of Bard's clothes, which is not of great value.
Francoise now is at the Hiryu Valley boss, which we know gives the bracelet. So had to search around a little bit but is finally come to the sort of inevitable check here. And Carlboss being a bit rude. I hope he's not trying to slash Carlboss, because Carlboss is heavy and you cannot slash him. I'm not sure if people are just paralyzed or whether the slash was actually used. Ooh, gargoyles at the Gilgamesh 4 spot. What do we have that we could use against them? Yes, sleep.
So we do have sleep. We have Shote.
Okay, one of them is a sleep.
We have slash.
Now, and yeah, you can just Shote them until it hits both in this case.
Boom.
This is a perfect setup again for Alastair. All they have to do is keep Shoting until this one goes down. And Francoise with the bracelet. Yeah, as you can see, the gargoyles do have some magic evade here, and sometimes Shote doesn't hit, but it will hit. It's probably better than 50% chance to hit right here, I think. So being a little bit unlucky, but this will hit eventually. There we go.
As chat said, I do feel as well that Alastair's party composition is definitely more versatile than all the full knight approach taken by Francois.
Yeah, that approach is going to give you good hit points later. Maybe that's why Francois is doing it. Having knights and then just putting other secondary abilities on them. Personally, I like to have at least one mage so I can actually train somebody up in their in magic stats and things like that. But see how it works out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so both runners are in Extes Castle now. Did Francois, I assume he went and did the basement earlier and now is working his way up. I mean, that's what I would
Correct.
do if I was him. Yeah. I've just sort of forgotten what boss it was down there in the basement.
Now, that's a good question.
That's all right. Exdeath fight. What is Alastair's plan for Exdeath here? Well, we've got X magic, which is nice. We certainly do not have Holy. So I think it's going to probably be Knight Power with support from the other three.
I got X magicking some haste across his party, across their party. With Golem, yeah, Golem and Shell, it's gonna give them a lot of good comfort.
You could it takes a while, but you could even end up casting like Wall with your White Mage for phase 2 to help reflect damage back onto Exdeath. If I were Alastair, I'd probably armor up, use the armor spell on the Knight too, because no shield over there is good damage, but you're going to take every hit that is directed your way.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you hate to see a double grip miss as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Knight Sword's not the greatest accuracy.
Yeah, it's just the evasion of Exdeath. Against a enemy with no evasion, it would always hit. But Final Fantasy V has quite a few bosses and even regular enemies with significant evasion chance. Let's see how well Francois does versus Shote. Does he have some softs? He only has one. That could be a problem. Although really good damage, and might just have enough damage from other knights to get the win. We'll see here. The hit points aren't too high here, only 15,000.
Magisa was fairly early on in the seed. Actually, Magisa was the first boss in Wind Shrine.
Yeah,
the
that
boss
makes
in Wind
more
Shrine,
sense to me. I remember
that
her being very early as well.
That was in Castle Basement.
Yeah, I think Alastair is a little weak on damage, but aha, it's time to break some rods. Okay, got a couple ice rods laying around. 1,600 damage is not bad. Meanwhile, Francois trying not to get turned to stone, but has to reset because the heavy hitters are out of the fight. This is definitely a fight where Alastair's knowledge and the ability to use the stop spell against Shote was important. I don't know how many softs. I think Alastair probably had more softs too, so they were more prepared for a Shote fight. But this could be a sticking point, and in fact, Francois warps out of Extes Castle to go buy softs, I think. So that's going to cost some time to have to run back in and all that. Meanwhile, though, Alastair is having a long Exdeath fight. I'm not going to say that they're in danger yet, but X Magic Double Comets is a bit you know, it's about the minimum thing that you would want to do to try and win this fight. It will add up eventually, as long as you can survive, stay alive.
Right.
Each time that the knight swings its sword and hits, there's a 1/3 chance of a dispel counter from X-Death, which is the only thing you really have to worry about, because all the other buffs right now are up. You just want to keep them up.
Francois grabbing the dance, the dancer ability, or job. We'll be gearing them up for some sword dances against Shote.
Do you know if Francois has a ribbon?
I
don't see one.
Don't recall.
I see tiara instead, so there is no immunity from stone.
He might have
counters, but
he might have purchased a some more softs while shopping, and looks like he's opting for larger, big blast attacks, and just an easier Shote, and then softing the inevitable stone after.
Fair enough. That should work out fine. I mean, the really important thing there was just to buy more softs. At that point, you can recover from those stone counters pretty easily. Alastair must be getting close, and that is victory.
And there it is. This gives Alastair World 3 access, able to head over right to the trench to follow their hints, or step outside and grab the Hear You Call check.
So what I'm seeing on the trackers here is that Alastair only has one tablet, which could be a bit of a disadvantage, since Francois must have, done a random check and found.
It's the Zaza fleet, which Alastair is now following.
Okay, so soon Alastair will be caught up in that sense, and then Francois will be trying to catch up in the sense of clearing X-Death's castle. We could have a pretty close race here pretty soon. Yeah, definitely a good idea, to check the fleet. We've got plenty of hints about that.
Yeah,
22 softs. There you go.
They're in a good space.
Yeah, this has been a little bit back and forth. It's been a little bit hard to tell who's in the lead because the runners have gone in different directions. But I think we're going to see a convergence soon, as long as someone doesn't get off track, and then it will be pretty close again.
All right. Shote's still given a bit of a hard time to Francois.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, as always with the dancer, not using chicken knife on the dancer, using it on the knight, it looks like. But of course, you still have to do your coin flips on the dancer, and sometimes they don't sword dance, and that can just drag the fight out a little bit. Conductor on the fleet goes down, and Alastair has the adamantite, needs to chase that chain. Ooh, another mystery waltz, excuse me. Unfortunate.
Bart's is having a hard time finding his dancing feet.
Oof, and then the squishiness of the front row dancer is shown, getting one shot there by Shote. That's unfortunate. I really like the Mirage vest on a dancer and then red shoes. That combination is pretty nice. But oh my gosh, doing everything but sword dancing, getting very unlucky with that dancer. Choke continuing to be a problem. Definitely one of the more problematic bosses in the game for a lot of parties.
Ribbons found for sale.
Interesting. I would at least note that. I don't know if I would necessarily buy them right away.
It's with access to mix for the life shield. Maybe I probably wouldn't prioritize purchasing some ribbons for the end game.
Wow, look at these spells for sale.
Oof.
Amazing. By the way, Francoise did eventually get a sword dance, and then Shote was dead. That was more the game's fault than the player's fault in terms of just waiting for the damage to happen. Flying Wonka, no library. So that's stuff that we already knew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we sort of weren't sure about the second half of the library, but we already knew that Flying Wonka was on the path. So now Alastair at least knows that going back to the library at some point, if they find the Fritz Fire, is not necessary. Turtle shells for sale is always an interesting consideration when you see them in Mirage. A really
Ninja for sale
useful
as
mix
well.
item. Yeah, I mean, Mirage is the best shopping in the game, hands down. There's lots and lots to buy here, and you've probably accumulated a lot that you can sell here as well. So basically, this is a bonanza.
Yeah, so many good items from Mirage.
Once you leave here, you're usually gonna have a lot of power and be able. Ooh, free running shoes in the barrel. Good check there. Love to see that.
Yeah, very nice. This far into the game, our heroes have probably worn down their shoes after all this running. It's good, nice to have a nice replacement. Running shoes, obviously, giving the wearer haste natively.
Francois taking on the gargoyles for the second time, gets the first Shote to hit. The key for this fight is either to get lucky with these Shote hits. Ooh, and he did. Or I was going to say, try and put at least one of these things to sleep so that you can try over and over again.
So Alastair purchasing an assassin dagger. I'm not sure if at this point of the game I would have, having encountered Minotauros already. It loses a lot of its value in my mind, though it is capable of proccing a death trigger.
Yeah, 1 in 4 chance for that proc. It's if you don't have mix on and if you don't have dark matters, it's a fallback way to get that. But it's kind of expensive to buy, so I usually don't buy it either. But Alastair's not like super short on money or anything, so maybe just felt why not. Yeah, no black available yet, it seems, so maybe that's the reason why. But I do love death potions because they never miss, as long as you're using it on the right target. Death potion mix, that is.
Now, I did have a thought that perhaps, I don't know if our runners or yourself have considered perhaps the hint for the X-Death being on the Castle of the Void points to the steamship key item that they found off the gargoyles. And
Yeah,
despite
that's
the fact
a possibility.
that burning contains no keys of value, it could still be the steamship key that has a tablet or leads to a key item. So that's something that
And
they'll
if
have to
that
keep in mind.
was, yeah, if that's the case, then we might be in for a long search because I don't think it's necessarily intuitive to do that check. But we'll see. We've got a lot of... I haven't really analyzed the logic of the hints that much yet. Looking them over real quickly right now, I don't have great direction in terms of where to go next. Other than, say, trench, right? We want to go there.
Also taking on X-Death. Ooh, nice little sword dance doing 8,000 damage. Certainly accelerates the process. Possible to likely get through this battle much quicker than Alastair did.
Probably so. It seems that Francoise has a little more power.
Alastair getting trolled by the hole inside the treasure chest room. You do have to take a little zigzag off to the left before heading up there.
The room with the 5 chests, not bad for Lonka loot, which tends to be pretty awful. It was decent this time.
Yeah, definitely level 4 quarter can be used if they've managed to find blue.
Taking an Earthshaker, Francoise doesn't really have much for healing here. So hopefully we'll just do enough damage. Needing some sword dances really to get the win.
Ooh. Counting on those
There's a sword
excuse
dance.
me, the wall rings to protect them from any wall rings and golem to protect them from any sort of damage. Ferris coming through for Galuf.
Yeah, actually using the guard ability helps keep Galuf standing, and Galuf might be guarding himself for all I know. It seems like there's only 2 people really attacking. Another sword dance. Is that enough? That is enough.
And there it goes.
Yeah, guard and reflect strats are good. Certainly Golem helped at the early on as well, so that was a quicker fight for Francoise than it was for Alastair. So again, we're probably going to see a little bit of convergence here. Alastair cleaning up what Francoise has already done. Francoise about to do things that Alastair has already done. Or maybe not. This is an interesting check. Going straight to the steamship.
Perhaps he got the same thought that I did and is wondering whether or not that was actually the hint to the path to the void.
Yeah, possibly so. I mean, this is... this could be important. If this turns out to be a key item, the person that goes here first might have an advantage if the other person decides to fade the check. So we will see. And it might also just be worth raiding the Arnicus Gate quickly too. Some of it at least, some of the loot in there on your way out. Even though we know that it's not going to give a key item.
Mm-hmm.
Alastair going to get the third tablet reward from Sealed Castle, it looks like. Switching someone over to Ninja. I like that. I like the party diversity there.
Likely gonna grab that chicken knife now.
Yeah, I would be all over the trench at this point if I was Francoise, but it's definitely an interesting check to do this steamship. It's not going to take too long if you ignore the loot.
And despite the fact that Karnak may not have any item, key item or value, it does contain some good items. The steamship, not so much, but any of those monster in a box chests can contain some really good equipment or jobs.
And Greg 4 is down with a sword dance. Personally, what I would do on Francoise's side is I would give my dancer the chicken knife, and I would give my knight the Ragnarok. He has that reversed, and there's a chance that Lena will just fail on her chicken knife attacks, so I think it's a little bit better to have a different setup. Apparently that gave nothing, steamship. I didn't see a key item there. Did anybody catch that?
Neither did I.
Partisan, right? So not a key item. Yeah.
Alastair heading over to the trench.
Good decision, in my opinion, on Alastair's part. We know that the trench is on the path here, so and we're gonna get shopping plus 3 hints plus loot, all good things in the trench. Francoise takes Gil Toss from Castle Kuza, might as well. Sage's staff, as expected. We do have the white mage job, so why not?
Necrophobia at the trench gate. Not a bad place. Should be an easy kill at 10,000 HP here.
Yeah, you'd rather do this fight at a lower hit point spot, so not too much of a problem here. And it looks like Francoise is also heading to the trench. So this is our race convergence. Both racers have 2 tablets. Both know that they need to go here.
The main difference is that Francois has made a few more checks. So if they end up having to hunt for an item at the end, that would definitely reduce the amount of time Francois has to spend hunting.
Yeah, Francois has a little bit more knowledge, it seems, about from the additional checks. But it's quite close. Ooh, you gotta watch out for that Assassin Dagger reflecting doom. Back off the barriers, but at least it didn't happen that time. Unfortunate that the shoat missed on one of the barriers for Francoise. He's not having great luck taking them out.
Necrophobia on Alastair's side, barrierless, about to show us his true power.
The real potentially scary part of this fight is actually phase 2 in a lot of locations. The flash has hit people and blinded them, so you need to heal them, and you better have your golem up because Necro hits like a truck. You would like to have some elemental damage here if possible, but unfortunately, well, Titan is technically elemental, so hey, that works.
It's true. Despite the fact that Necrophobia does seem to be floating in the air, not immune to the Earthshaker.
Note that Alastair does not have Golem up, though, and a double turn from Necro can really hurt. If they can't win the fight right now, this could be it.
Oof. And there you go. That's a wipe from Alastair's side, unfortunately. Francois taking the lead in the trench.
So Alastair got to the trench gate first, but will not. Well, let's not make any. I'm not gonna make any predictions, but was not able to clear it first as expected. Francois may also have trouble against Necro if he doesn't have Golem up.
Francois just cast it, so he did have that foresight.
Excellent.
Though very easy to pass through your golem use. It's already expired. So
again, looking for a
Francois will have
sword
to
dance and
refresh
missing
that.
with the other attacks, which is unfortunate. Golem has already run out. Got to get it right back up. Oh, going with Ramu because Francois knows that Necro's almost dead. Not quite there yet. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
It
Unfortunately,
blocked
Lena.
before you died, Lena. And there's a sword dance for the win.
There you go.
Those double attacks don't knock you down. Even if you would have died from the damage from the first one, it's a no interrupt double attack. So she was able to get a block in and save Gallif's life before she died.
All right. I'll start going into the repeat fight with a Magic Knight with Giltoss to take care of the barriers.
Nice job to have for this fight. Although using Chicken Knife, it could fail if you're not careful. You have the right abilities, or you're going to be at the mercy of the run proc RNG. Oh, he has Mug. They have Mug, which overrides the run. So good game knowledge again by Alastair.
Yeah, definitely. The use of X-Fight, if they had it, Mug, Dance, all overwrites the run capabilities, or the run effect of Chicken Knife.
Yeah, that's one of those cool little abilities that is really helpful for Chicken Knife use. And it may also, if they leave it on for a while, it may end up giving some nice steals along the way as you go.
Though I am curious. I thought they had equipped Giltoss, but it looks like they're opting not to use it or removed it when they were... Oh no, there it is.
There it is. Blue Mage in the Trench shop is a nice pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time for some hints. Adamantite World 2, we knew that. Solitaire Island has the Moogle suit. That's news, but not all that important. And Waltz Meter has the Falls page, which maybe you'll go to the Falls now after this?
Unfortunately, we have no concrete direction as to where the final piece of the puzzle might be.
Yeah, so the question becomes, do you start doing quick checks, or do you start doing checks where there is a hint, but it's a vague hint? Because that hint may or may not pay off, and it's possible that the checks that are faster, that have no hints associated with them at all, could have the key item that you need. So tough decisions here. Once Alastair can use Holy Spellblade on Necro, this fight should be over pretty quick. Ooh, Stalker in the Trench.
You hate to see it, but then again, it's better than seeing Stalker into the Void. Stalker being a bit of a problem boss, as only one of the 4 is attackable after being hit the first time.
Yeah, now if Francois had sleep, what you can do is sleep the Stalkers and then just dance the real one over and over again, because dancing, even if it's a sword dance, will not wake them to cause them to move or switch position. It looks like instead Francois is not going to bother with that and is just going to use those 2 powerful attackers up top to randomly attack Stalker. And again, still has the chicken knife on Lena, unfortunately. So this is going to take a while unless Francois gets lucky like that and gets sword dances at the right time. One thing that dancing can do for you, though, is a mystery waltz will steal MP from the real one without making it move. So it does tell you in that one case where the real one is without making it move. So that can be a little bit helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Alastair is raiding the trench. Got an elixir steal from Necrophobia on the final hit, which was kind of a nice perk. Always nice to get an extra elixir here and there for sort of backup purposes if you run out of MP. Oh, no tents for Alastair. Well, luckily we have White Mage who can heal up, right? Do we not have float? And do we not have time mage?
They do have flow, but I think they just considered or they were probably just planning on saving the time and only using the wall at the end, or the tent at the end.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Clearing out a bit of their inventory.
Light staves to break for Holy, not a bad purchase because the Holy spell hasn't appeared yet in the seed, from what I know. But I wouldn't buy too many either, maybe just a few. And Alastair has shown some good game knowledge. I expect a different strategy versus Stalker from Alastair, rather than sort of the
brute force
check
approach.
Sort of, yeah, brute force approach. We'll see, though. Either way, it's still going to take a little while, probably, to finish this boss. The key, though, is if you can finish it. You don't want a long fight where you end up losing. You want it to be one attempt, or at least a quick reset and then one attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first thing, magic sword. Holy is not going to matter. But what other things will Alastair do? Golem is helpful, sure. That takes away some of the physical damage. Hasting, always good. Yeah,
there you go.
switching over to Sleep Spellblade. I like that move. You have to sort of waste some turns to get back around to your Mystic Knight, but that's okay. Once you hit the correct one with Sleep, you can keep hitting it, I believe. That is one of the weird quirks of this fight, where Sleep Spellblade, normally every other time that you hit a target with it, it wakes that target up. But for the Stalker fight, oh, you really don't want it to be the back row one, though.
And stole dark matter from him. It's a nice little find.
Ooh, and we have a reset from Francoise.
This trench location check has been quite a roller coaster between our two racers, exchanging the lead in these locations. But as mentioned before, Francoise has made more checks. Oh, Alastair
with a
also
reset as well.
All right.
Yeah,
we
Dark
are at
Matter
the edge of our
Steal
seat.
From Stalker is kind of a nice perk of Mug again. I bet that you can get, I'm pretty sure that you can get multiple Dark Matters from the non-real targets stealing or mugging that during that fight. Yeah, I would like to get something like sleep, ability to use sleep on multiple people here. And certainly if you can get in magic attacks, or dance is actually really nice here. As I mentioned earlier, it's just isolate the real one and sword dance it down. And sleep the others so they can't really do anything to you while you do that. So both runners having to think a little bit and set up for this fight, which is not surprising. Stalker is really annoying, especially in a high hit point location like this. We know it's required. You have to stay here and do this and try and get through it.
Mm-hmm. And this is actually one of the nice aspects, or one of the aspects I appreciate about this randomizer is that you can go up and reach a battle and realize my current loadout, my current team is just incapable of doing this fight, but I do have the ability to reset, go back, and try to reorganize. And you have to decide, is it quicker for me to just try to brute force my way with what I have, or should I reset, reorganize, and try to tackle that challenge a different way?
That's right. I often try to cover a lot of bases with my team as I'm running blindly through the seed, but that also means that if you have a really fast way to kill a boss, sometimes the best thing to do is to reset out of the fight. And you need sort of the experience and knowledge to know that a quick reset will be faster. A lot of times, people stick with a fight longer than they should. So that's also sort of a skill in playing this randomizer. But yeah, Stalker is just sort of a hated boss. It rarely ever goes down quickly unless you find it early. And I think that both runners are having a little bit of trouble with it at the moment. Let's see how it goes. Also, in the pressure of a race situation, you might not be thinking about some of the weird things that you might do against Stalker.
Okay. Now we do have Stalker slept now on Alastair's side.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
Yeah, I don't love the low damage of something like Bolt 2, but I do believe that you can, as I've mentioned before, I know people aren't really familiar with this because it's very quirky and weird, but you can keep attacking with Sleep Spellblade, and that target should not move.
Looks like Alastair does have that knowledge. That's what they're choosing to do. Oh, unfortunately, the following comet did make it move. Probably would have been wise
that
to
wasn't
wait.
The move because of the comet, though. I think that it just the comet snuck in before the move happened, so I was wrong on that. I've seen it work in the past, but I'm not claiming that it always works with Sleep Blade every time. It's a really weird fight. Like, I've seen it done, but maybe it has something to do with whether it's the first action that you take at the start of the fight or not, something like that. Weird things can happen in this fight, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it seems that once the target is slept, the following Sleep Blade does not trigger the switch, but it does wake it. So yeah, the following damage did cause it to rotate around.
I mean, that could be the case, Mal. What I've seen is a team full of Sleep Spellblade users just attacking the same target over and over and over again. It seemed to work out okay, but if you only have one, it doesn't seem to be as viable of a strat. Francoise did reset again, so again, we've got some trouble with this boss for sure. Yeah, and there's also a switch after a certain number of turns where Stalker does something called, in the algorithms guide, it's called Stalker Attack. It's not an attack at all, though. It's just the switching of the random switch of what the real target is, and that happens after like turn 7, I think.
Okay, I believe we just experienced it there.
Script. Yeah, so if the target that you were working on has moved, even though you didn't cause the move, it could have been because Stalker did it itself. Anyway, this is going to take a while to get through this fight. It's pretty rough. Yeah, I like sleeping all of them. That way they don't get to take their turns, and then doing some sort of magical attack or dancing, which does not wake them.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, you're getting one person who can dance each round, and it's only a 50-50 chance, so you're still sort of hoping for sword dances.
If Alastair has spare rods, and I believe they do, I would probably opt to break those rods on Lena instead of using the Comet spell. Comet is just it's not consistent.
I wouldn't break a rod here, but those light staves that are for sale in the shop, which can be single targeted, are looking more enticing. Because a rod would do AoE damage, and it would get spread out and be kind of weak.
Right.
Yeah, with Comet, you're probably not going to run out of MP. That's nice. Yeah, Bolt 2. Yeah, it's rough. Really rough.
Now, this is the winner's bracket semifinals. The winner of this match will go up against IB Karma.
Yeah,
which won last night.
Their match last night. Yep.
And the other will move on to the lower bracket to take on their next opponent.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm not sure who that will be.
I will take a look.
Maybe the winner of Windfox versus... Who was Windfox racing today? Carlisle? Maybe.
Yes.
So I think that might be the way that the bracket shakes out. Yeah, I know it's not me either. We're both out. Now, Mal, you are going to go up against the person who lost last night. Is that correct?
My next opponent is Slackaholikus, and the winner of that match against Slackaholikus will go up against Freddy, I believe.
Right, and Freddy was the one who lost last night, so I jumped one match ahead. You still have to go against Slack there.
That's right. Either way, it's significantly further than I thought I would make it.
Yeah, you're doing well. I predicted that you would do pretty well. But
well, I can definitely say everything I know is because of the community. That the Final Fantasy V Career Day community has been great to learn from and teach. And if you want to start and join us, then feel free to look into it. Join the Discord. Ask for help. We're all there for you.
Absolutely, yes. Do we have a quick way to link the Discord? Is that like a exclamation D or anything? I don't know, actually. Oh, there we go. Freddy's on top of it. Got all the Final Fantasy V Career Day links you could ever want right there.
Fantastic.
And, I will also agree, Pyromance said that the race that Slack was involved in, Slackaholikus, last race, came down to the wire and may have been the most exciting race of the tournament so far.
It was. There was just a turnaround in the lead right on the final battle. It just goes to show you how important your team setup Yes, Francois did make it, found in the end, and we got the 4th tablet. So
All
one
right, well, I
tablet to
would
go.
definitely give Francois the advantage at this point, having gotten through the trench first, and also I think maybe having done a couple extra checks. So in good shape, I would say. But the question now is, where do you go to get that last tablet? Francois is going to the barrier tower. Why not, right? I was thinking maybe you check waterfall because there was a hint that mentioned the waterfall, but you should also think about quick checks that are available, as Alastair also gets through the trench fight. Another approach to this could be doing quick checks like Tool Pass or the Odin location in World 3. Or the maybe even something like Sunken Walls Tower, which can be quick as long as the boss isn't too tough.
Alastair walking out of there, probably okay to do some additional shopping, purchasing Blue Mage.
Okay, good memory to remember that you ran to fight the boss and didn't buy Blue Mage the second or third attempt. Francois is doing the monster in a box checks on the way up barrier tower, which I wasn't sure whether he would do.
Hardened daggers.
Seems to want
nice
the loot here, so that's okay. Yeah, that Sage Staff attack against the undead red dragon was some great damage. Sage Staff pickup.
Yeah, Sage Staff doing some 8 times damage against undead creatures?
Yes, that is correct. Big damage. Alastair doing some shopping, making sure that they have enough Phoenix Downs and such.
Yeah, probably looking to resupply their tents, which they had run out of in the...
Absolutely. And it looks like Alastair has not checked the catapult or, of course, Lonka Meteor, and so is doing those quick checks at this point, which, as I mentioned, is totally, one direction that you can go. I can't make any comment as to whether it's a good or bad strategy because we just don't know. I don't think we really have much direction at this point.
Right. Alastair will find the Elder Branch. Now it's a matter of whether or not they're going to decide, are they going to check Fork Tower right off the bat? If it is a Fork Tower required seed, it is a check that people put off a long time, and it could pay off to check it as soon as they find the branch, or going through more forest to unlock the Fork Tower location.
So there was a hint about Subkey being in World 1, and then there is also a hint about... where's that waterfall hint? I know there was one. Yeah. Walls Meteor has the Falls page. So that's a bit of a stretch. Those two things might be connected, but we also have the random Pyramid page in World 3 hint as well, which we don't know anything about whether that might or might not be the way to go. Other than that, we have collected all the hints, so that's the most direction we're going to get for the rest of the seed. There's not going to be any more info.
An easy golem fight for FrancoiseHarpie.
The Elder Branch on Alastair's side. Just see where Alastair heads next, basically. Checking some towns, looking for tents. Doing sort of a World 1 tour, making sure he didn't miss anything important.
Grabbing some throwable thunder scrolls.
Wow.
And there it is.
Francois, with all the options available, Francois makes the right call. Gets the second tablet at Barrier Tower.
This puts him into go mode, going to be able to make his way up the into the void.
That is a huge advantage. I can't say where Alastair will go next, but the chances are not that high that they will go right to Barrier Tower. We'll have to see. But this is going to give Francois probably a pretty good lead. Well, at Barrier Tower is actually a 20,000 hit point location, so that's equal to some other spots. Although I'm not sure if those spots were actually open and available. But let's see here. So Alastair's doing the Lonka meteor check, which makes sense, having just completed the catapult, which opens this up. It's going to be a quick win over Minotauros. So Alastair actually had not fought Minotauros earlier, so it makes sense that they would buy the Assassin Dagger. We saw Minotauros, but it was on Francois's side earlier. So that all sort of makes a lot more sense to me now. Should have noticed that. And of course, we already knew, though, that the Lonka meteor doesn't have anything. So where will Alastair go next? Meanwhile, Francois is just shopping for whatever sort of stuff he might need in the void. Make sure you've got all your mixed ingredients and things like that. Yeah, you know what though? Against Minotauros, if it's at Waltz Meteor, I'm not gonna throw away a 20,000 gold Assassin Dagger against Minnow there. Alastair is in Mirage. It looks like Alastair might be doing the Bahamut check, which, you know, when you're blind, you just got to do checks. We know that it's not the right one, but there's absolutely no way that Alastair could know. Francois got really lucky with that Barrier Tower check.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, there was a hint, I don't know if I wrote it down, about getting the Moogle suit. I don't think I even wrote it down. I don't really think our runners necessarily need to go to Moogle Village.
Moogle suit was in Shrine.
Yeah, that's not
the solitary
that's not
shrine.
something that you're gonna buy. That you're not gonna go there then, because you know that it's not going to save you any time at all. And plus, I don't. Oh, we do have shrine page. Okay. Iblos at the Bahamut location can be instant killed with Fire 3 Spellblade or something like Death Claw can work, or Slash. It's not heavy.
Yeah, not a particularly difficult location.
Yeah, it's nice to see this boss at this spot because it's got a ton of hit points, but you can do an instant kill, so you don't really have to worry about all those hit points.
Mm-hmm.
X-Zone could work. Got him. Got Biblos with the X-Zone. Not
very nice. Faxing him over to a different dimension.
That's right. Faxed into the ether.
I like to say that they get faxed over to Final Fantasy VI on account of Gilgamesh and Gogo both succumbing to X-Zone at the end of their fights.
Francois has entered the void and is looting and getting some great stuff like Summon 4 and Excalibur, which is decent, especially if he's going to keep using a bunch of these knights. Meteor, not bad.
Now, I haven't been keeping track of any of the bosses that they've encountered, but what do you think we can encounter in the void that could give us trouble at this point?
Well, I don't think I've seen Omniscient yet. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. I think we have the Dispel spell and Mute Spellblade, so he should go down pretty quickly. Bahamut? Have we fought Bahamut?
I don't believe we've seen him. So Bahamut could give us some trouble.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Odin Esper Magic to go along with that Summon 4. Really nice for Francois. And here's Odin on the other side in a different way, the boss that we need to fight in the Tool Pass location. Greg 4 has been seen. Nice to have Greg 4 out of the way. I don't know if we've seen very many other Gregs. We already saw Necro. That was in the... There was Necro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the gate, the trench
was a gate of trench, yeah. So we've seen Necro, we've seen Stalker, we've seen we haven't seen Shiva.
Except for right now. Shiva is in the Void Forest. Yeah, it was
Not
a rude trench. Yep.
When you can
I'll agree with that.
You could just slash her guards away. Or fire 3 sword if they have it.
Alastair mugging Odin to death, which is a good strat. It worked.
This is it. Oh, Pyramid Page.
Pyramid Page. Alastair's probably going to chase that because there's a Pyramid Page hint. I mean, maybe not, because it takes a long time to go through the pyramid, but there's a chance.
A lot of good items there, but
they may chase it.
They are heading into World 3, which is not where they want to go.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a really rough situation to be in. When you and I raced, Mal, we were in a similar situation where we just were blindly doing checks, and it comes down a lot of times to the person who gets the lucky check.
That's right. The only reason that I think I got ahead of you is because the race that I lost previously was to that same location that I checked. So there was a bit of a fear.
Our past races and experiences have some influence over maybe the checks that we do. It is just so random, you know. You have to have sort of some tiny reason to do a check sometimes, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Shiva being a bit difficult here, and Swaz is not in great shape. Shiva can be pretty rude in a lot of places. The commanders hit hard, even though they have a lot of weaknesses. It sometimes takes a while to sort of even really get to the point where you can do a lot of damage against Shiva.
Ooh. Ice 3 doing some damage.
You don't like losing here because it's a big time loss. You get your save is before you even entered the void. So
and there's a lot of equipment that you probably want to be getting again from all those chests, so you don't want to be skipping too many of them.
Yep, you're going to be re-rating most of those chests. Probably all of them, unless you kept amazing memory of what was where. And Francois is doing some shopping to maybe just to help.
Ooh.
Okay, buying some ribbons perhaps for
for
later in the seed.
Yeah, protecting them from the white hole.
Not a bad idea, although very expensive, that's for sure.
The question is, have they found anything to equip it other than the dancer?
Well, if you master Dancer, you can have the equip ribbons ability and put it on anyone, but that's an entire ability spot just to wear that piece of gear. So it's not
Exactly.
not that advised, unless you've got something like maybe Mimic or something with the extra ability slot available.
And especially if you already have the, if you've already got the mix ability. I don't know, I'm a little unsure about that.
It looks like maybe Francoise didn't go to Mirage before and is now saying, hey, why not shop here before I go into the void? Then I will have more power. Alastair, meanwhile, did clear the pool path. I'm sorry, it was actually the Odin location in World 3, basement of Bal Castle. Is now checking for something, maybe still tents, might still be looking for tents in World 1. It's really annoying when you can't find tents because there they are. I like to use tents quite a bit, but didn't look like they bought tents. Maybe they're looking for something else.
They must have bought them at a previous location, but if you're our runners right now, how do you feel? Do you think Francois feels like he's ahead and is comfortable doing the shopping, or do you think that they feel they're behind? Ooh, we're gonna get that pyramid.
If I am Francois and I pulled that barrier tower check out, I'm feeling pretty good about myself being in the lead. Not like resetting out of the void is, I don't feel good about that, but doing some shopping here and going back in, you got to think that you're in pretty good position. As for Alastair, you're probably feeling like you're behind because you're just blindly doing checks. You're hoping that this pyramid is, there was mention of it in a hint. You're hoping that this pays off. If it doesn't, you're going to feel even more behind. And, we know on this end that it's not going to pay off except, there's loot in here. But yeah, it's hard to say how they feel in just trying to ignore the knowledge that we have. But I do think that Francois has to feel at least a little bit good about finding the last tablet pretty quickly.
Alastair taking a look, taking a pause, taking some time, probably rereading their notes, finding. Sometimes you just have to take a moment in Rano.
Yeah, this is a big commitment to go into the pyramid. It probably takes the most time to get through here of just about any area because of all the looting that you need to do and all of the traps and things that you need to get past.
Summoner found.
Yeah, that's nice. Switching to it immediately. Yeah, it's a tough commitment to come into the pyramid unless you're sure you need to go here. And unfortunately, the hint that we have is very vague. So there is mention of the pyramid, and that's it. So it's a tough call. I mean, there's lots of other nasty places that might have to be checked as well, too. You're thinking about, well, do I go to Fork Tower? Do I do fast checks? Do I do checks that were mentioned by the hints? There's no right or wrong answer really at this point.
Yeah, Alastair turning two of their characters into summoners, one of which with time, the other with X magic, and equipping the X magic user with the air knife, kind of hinting that we're going to be seeing a lot of double Sildras.
That's very powerful.
Walking face first into some spikes, however, poisoning your entire group.
That's going to be just a quick outside intent to fix that problem, and maybe a pre-float on the entire team after that to avoid any spike damage in the future.
Yep. It does help you fly through the pyramid without fear of that, but no pre-float, it seems.
It's nice to be able to just blaze through the pyramid and not have to worry about that damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Shiva round 2 for Francoise. Has some good gear on. Seems that only Lena was hit by the snowstorm, although that does target a certain row. Shiva is it's one of the unique bosses in the game that actually has some row-based attacks.
I'm curious if Francois seems to have opted to not try to take slash for easy disposal of those commanders.
Yeah, and also is not wearing the running shoes that he found in Mirage, which is an easy mistake to make because of how Optimize works. May have not been auto-equipped, but running shoes on the Time Mage who can cast Haste 2 and get everybody fast right from the start is sort of a move that I like to do myself.
We did see a little trick from Francois' side where he rotated the weapon from one hand to the other. That was to refresh the use of the Mirage vest equipped on that character.
Yeah, you get one image from the Mirage vest, and then if that image is exhausted by an attack, well, you can just use this little glitch to refresh it again.
Yeah, unfortunately, the optimizability does, or the optimize option tends to pick just items with higher defense score in most cases, which is not what you're looking for.
That's for sure, since all the cursed equipment has the highest defense in the game. But even some other things like the running shoes give you auto haste all the time that cannot be dispelled, plus 4 status immunities, but they're not very often optimized because they don't give any defense. So all kinds of other stuff is higher priority on the optimized list than the running shoes, even though they're by far the best accessory in the entire game.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually didn't know that they provided some status immunities. I assume that they're time-based.
Yes, you cannot be hit by stop, slow, sleep, or paralysis when you're wearing the running shoes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it really is fantastic to not have to worry about that sort of stuff.
Ooh. Arcavis in the place of a panda.
Alright, well, sword dances are working out. That's 2 forms down immediately. 5 forms to this boss, as we mentioned earlier. Only the final form transition is shown, though. The rest is sort of hidden.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing the slash strats used against Arcavis. 2 of the forms weak to instant death attacks, but slash in particular, when used, causes Arcavis to respawn but lower on the screen, causing him to obstruct your view of your
Boss,
menu.
trying to block the spells that you might want to use against it with a fourth wall breaking technique. Yeah, it's always fun to see menu boss, but maybe not this time. We'll have to see if Alastair gets to that point and does it or not. Yeah, sleep immunity is a little unexpected. I guess it's basically like anything that would cause you to slow down or lose a turn for any reason is blocked by running shoes, so they decided to include sleep as well to that, which is kind of cool.
And a sword dance take care of the final form.
Wow, single-digit HP on everyone. Actually, sort of common in this fight to get maelstrommed at the end, but then, usually you just finish off the boss, even with low hit points, and you're good to go.
Unfortunately, because of that, Francois will go back to try to take the safe spot. If the boss you encounter there is quite easy to take. Some people choose to risk moving forward, hoping to unlock the next saves point without turning back. But this is probably the smarter play right now.
Yeah, we have Halicarnassus at the top of the pyramid. Going to take a minute to untoad everyone, but shouldn't be a problem for Alastair to win after that. Mugging with the chicken knife, you might as well. Mute is a good idea. There's actually some spells that Hallie uses that are worthwhile to block.
Yeah. What you don't want to see is your summoners. Unfortunately, two of Alastair's characters will not be able to use their main strength against Halicarnasso because Hallie does counter any use of summons against her.
Swag, light staff, steel. I also saw Francoise pick up the mimic job. Was it job or ability? Darn it. I think it was the job. So that's a possible option for end game, final fight, for faster mixing. And an easy Tyrannosaurus guarding the jail save.
Might make use of those dancers in order to use those ribbons in the end. Though I'm not sure if they found the equip ribbon ability, then they'll be able to just equip that on everybody.
We shall see.
All right, Titan.
Shouldn't be too bad if you have float, or you could actually just do some decent spell here like Sildra and survive the quake with hit points, which should be good enough.
It'll only do about 400 to 500 damage. It's not too bad.
Yep. Nice quick Titan fight. Got good sword dance luck at the start and almost basically weakened Titan to the point that just about anything would finish him on the third attack, which is that's a 1-round fight. Pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
As Hallie goes down at the top of the pyramid, and Alastair is about to be disappointed by what the pyramid gives. An Artemis bow.
Artemis bow, yeah.
Womp womp. Where do you go now if you're Alastair? Pick a random check.
Yeah, probably the quick. Oh, there we go.
If
heading to the barrier
stick
tower.
With this, we know this is the right way. Anti-barrier. Okay. Not real practiced in sailing the sub to the anti-barrier spot, I guess, but that's all right. It takes some reps to get this route down.
Miragene, this location.
On the other side. Yeah, just dancer. Why not? Well, no sword dances this time. I don't think we have seen Califisteri, Freddy. That's a possible boss coming up. She's not too tough, but in areas where she has a lot of hit points, it can take a little while to take her down. Looks like Francoise still doesn't have those running shoes on, but just used haste 2 at least.
It would be good to equip those on his time user. Barrier change
doesn't matter too much here because I think we're going for non-elemental damage. Ooh, those Meteos got nerfed hard by her defense. Wow. Major magic defense happening in this form, I guess. Luckily, Sword Dance is effective. Alastair is doing the monster in a box checks. That slows you down a little bit, but I can't necessarily fault them for doing it.
And despite Sildra looking like it's lightning elemental, it's actually wind. So not
Yeah, and
still doing
attacking
damage to those
named
yellow dragons.
Thunderstorm against the yellow
Yeah.
dragon. You're like, uh-oh, because the yellow dragon uses the thunder ability against you. But no. Sildra's wind, and it all goes back to like replacing the wind and dragging the pirate ship around, I guess.
Yeah, Freddy
Hey,
with the
good
proper
call,
prediction.
Freddy. Yep. This is Callow
Ooh.
using the reflect. Callow loves to use reflect strats, but it shouldn't matter too much. Just sort of buffing herself, and we have the dispel spell, removing all of her buffs, just like that.
Fortunately, Bart's not able to receive haste, as the wall was placed before. So we'll have a slow-moving.
I think that'll eventually wear off, but it might not. It might be too late by the time it does to matter. I mean, you could dispel it with your white mage, but I don't think it's all that important.
No, at this point.
Maybe he was hasted before. I'm not sure.
No, unfortunately, the
No.
haste 2 came through afterwards.
Right, that's right. After her reflect went up on him. Okay. There, she armored herself? No, you don't. Spell
Good
it
call
away.
on the spell right away. Ooh, last meteor.
This has been good sword dance luck in this fight, but it definitely hasn't been that great in some of the earlier fights. There's a nice sword dance for the win.
All right. So now you're Francois. You've defeated Califisteri at Twintania. Probably heading back to the save point to heal. What are you equipping yourself with?
Well, first of all, I'm checking my money. Last I checked, Francois has just about the right amount of money to just barely win by doing max damage gill tosses every turn. But let's check it again. 142. Okay. I think that should be enough, although you might. The very last gill toss could actually end up being short if you go for max level gill tossing. Personally, I think we have do we have the mix ability? I'm starting to, yeah, we do. Putting mix on mimics, mix and gill toss on mimics. I think that's the fastest way to get yourself leveled up. You probably put time on somebody so you can haste the team and slow the tree. What do we have for white hole protection? I guess we'll have to mix life shields.
Yep. Or I don't know how many Master Dancer that they had, but they've got all those ribbons.
Yeah, that's the thing about gear here. There's a small chance at the start of the fight that you could get white hold if you have all mimics without the item command. You are stuck and that person is never coming back. So it's nice to have somebody who can wear a ribbon who also maybe has the item command so that they can restore others. Otherwise, you probably are fast enough that you can get the other life shields up and only one person would be stoned for the fight. I mean, you could even reset out if that happened. You just have to run back up there again. So with Mimic, things are a little bit more complicated, but also potentially faster.
Mm-hmm.
Mimicking your mixes is a really fast way to buff up your levels.
Francois, skipping the chests, does not care what the final area of the void contains. Is confident that he can do everything that he wants to with that, with his loadout.
Yep. This should be okay. Francois put running shoes on someone. That's a great idea. Ideally, you're putting it on the person maybe that has haste 2. We have that. Yeah, I'm sure we have that available to at least someone who mastered Time Mage.
Oh, getting rid of item, equipping summon.
Yeah, well, having Golem is nice. Like I said, without item, you could potentially get burned right away, but we'll see how it goes here. I'm not too worried. Even if one person got White Hold, it's not that big of a deal. But Francois is actually using Hero Song. This may be a combination of mixing and singing that we see here. Mixing for the life shields, Hero Song for the levels. Unfortunately, you can't mimic these mixes because they have to go on 4 different people.
And now Francois' team is secure from Whitehole just in time to dodge that Whitehole ability.
And both of the tree's attacks are now negated. Early high hit point attacks are now negated.
It seems
so
like
all you have to do at this point is wait for the level to cap out.
Fortunately, it does seem that we may not have a Time Mage user, so we won't be seeing any haste or slow.
Oh, that is unfortunate because we do have regen on people, which is nice for checking level, but without... You could try and mix haste, but we only have 1 turtle shell. So turtle shell plus eye drop gives you haste status, that mix. But we could only at most haste 1 other person in the party, and that's a little bit unfortunate because you want to get these gill tosses off as quickly as possible, and you even want to slow the tree so that it has less of a chance to do any sort of damage to you at all as you go into phase 2. So there is a chance here that Francois could eat a high damage attack from X-Death, like a Flare or a Holy or a Meteor or something, while doing gill tossing, and that could affect the rest of the fight. Alastair is entered the void, just did some shopping, and is now in go mode, running through the void to try and catch up here. Doesn't look too likely. I think we would need to see multiple wipes from Francois for him to not finish first, but we'll see.
It could be a question of an unlucky Meteo if he happens to run out of Gil at the wrong time, and with his team not hasted.
Not waking up the Bard because no one has the fight command. So that means that Lena is going to be singing the whole time. I'm now a little bit worried about Francois' gold total. I think he has enough, but it's extremely tight.
Yeah, no haste, 1 less Gil Tosser. We could see some shenanigans, but I still think he's probably comfortable.
You want, well, if you're doing pure Gil Toss strats, which I think he is, he could do something like a Drain Kiss with Mix to start it off, and then you weaken the back that way and you save yourself some money. But you're still going to need 6 Gil Tosses after that to win the fight. And with only 3 characters controllable and none of them hasted, you might could get dicey. You might take an Almagest, for example, and maybe more. Probably you're probably gonna take something from the back, some spell, whether it's Delta attack or some elemental spell or something. So let's count the guild tosses. That was one. Yeah, now see it's a long wait before the next one.
It's a lucky block. There's the Delta
attack.
Ooh.
But we don't have any way. Oh, but wait. That person must have been wearing a ribbon. Bart's does not go down. All right.
Yep, the Bart's was one of the ones with the mastered...
3, 4.
Master
we need
Dancer.
2 more, and we need to not run out of money. Actually, we need 3 more guild tosses and not to run out of money. There's an Almagest, and Bart's goes down. Okay. So this is not looking great because Lena still can't do
Lena's
anything.
still
We still
singing.
need 3 more. Need 3 more guild tosses. There's 1, 2. Now only the back is live, but we're out of money. The
Gotta
back,
hope for no
we
medio.
need to do damage. You need to do. Oh, not a medio, please. Ferris is still alive.
Oh no, there's
that is
the
a
wipe.
party wipe.
And an
But
extra comment just to put the nail in the coffin.
Like I mentioned before, that one turtle shell, if you do a drain kiss on the back, then you can even out the damage and you can do 1 less guild toss. And we were short just 1 guild toss. And we actually needed to do 1 less guild toss because we were also short on money. So Francois needs to fix his setup here, and this could take a minute to sort of realize what the problems were and try to fix them. Extremely close to victory. The back had like 6 hit points left.
I feel like things would be
or maybe
vastly
a bit more than that, but even so.
Things would be vastly different if Francois
Yeah,
had
10,006 or so.
had equipped time on Lena and used those buffs prior to begin the singing. That would have changed everything.
Being hasted is going to be a huge factor here. I hope that he realizes that. But also you need to consider what you're going to do to get a little bit of extra damage on the back so that you can do 1 less guild toss to win. One method you could do is to, because you're using Hero Song, there is no stopping your level from reaching the cap, really. Like Freddie would refer to his spreadsheet if he was mixing his level up, but if you're going to be singing it up, you know, and then maybe you want to actually give someone the fight command so that you can wake up Lena and she can contribute to the fight. So there's
looks
a number
like he
of
has
things
this time.
could be done. Looks like he's also checking the chests, maybe hoping for 1 more gold chest to bump up the gold total so he can guild toss the entire fight. Excuse me. Meanwhile, Alastair's fighting Arcu Avis at the Panda spot. Not having too much trouble yet.
Unfortunately, that medio coming a little weak.
And
there's
through the
quick
fight.
time magic. Useful, but only when time magic is equipped.
Right. And I did not see that Francois put time on, but this might be another check of the team's abilities right here.
And there you go. It may be, there we go.
There's time. And I believe Galuf mastered Time Mage, so all of the time magic should be available to him this time. And I think that's going to turn out a lot better.
Now, he may get better use of the running shoes if he put them on Galuf. Unfortunately, left them on
Yeah, well, I'm
Lena.
not against the idea of leaving them on the Singer. That helps you buff up faster, but that's a tough call there. That could go you could do that a few different ways.
Still seems to life shield his ribbon wearer. So that's unfortunately a turn that is lost right there.
Does anyone have item, or is Ferris done for the fight?
Looks like Ferris is done for the fight.
You
Unless,
can do... Okay, so
there
it's
you
a
go.
reset. Yeah. That was a good call on your part there, Mal, to say don't life shield the ribbon wearer. You need to life shield someone who's vulnerable to white hole. Instead.
Hello, everybody from SpeedGaming 2 with the raid. Thank you very much for joining us here at this Final Fantasy V Career Day 1.0 launch tournament winners bracket semifinals between FrancoiseHarpie and Alastair.
Yeah, we've got an interesting race here. Francoise is at the final fight, but has reset out of it twice. Well, I should say, died the first time, reset out the second time. Is adjusting his setup to try and have a more reliable final fight victory. Alastair is in the void, trying to chase down Francoise, but still has at least a couple more, actually 3 more bosses to defeat before the final fight is available.
Mm-hmm. Francois still comfortably in the lead.
Yeah, even though this is taking multiple attempts, Francoise is still very much favored to finish first at this point. Really, really close to winning the final fight the first try, but just came up short on money and a little bit of setup things that weren't optimal. And then sort of an unlucky white hole in the second attempt took one person out, and that person could not be revived, so it was just a quick reset for now. Attempt number 3. We have 1 turtle shell. 1. Although I'm pretty sure they were for sale in Mirage this seed, which you don't see all that often. I would have bought 10 or so just for fun myself. Because they're really cheap.
Using the life shield on his ribbon user. Life shield protects you from instant death attacks, but white hole is not just an instant death attack. It's a combination of the stone and the instant death. And if you're immune to one, you're immune to white hole. So the ribbon protecting them from the stone ability, the stone portion of the white hole protects them from the entire thing. So could really save himself the turn. But now it seems like they're all white. They all have their life shield fully protected from white hole. It's just a matter of making it through.
Yeah, Francois doing some dragon power mixing and mimicking onto Bart's, I should say. I gotta read what name was chosen for the seed here by each runner. That's not really necessary since Lena is singing Hero Song. I mean, Bart's gets to capped level sooner, but he's not going to start really doing damage until everyone's max level anyway, and they're all going to basically get there about the same time.
Mm-hmm. Looks like he swapped out time magic once again, though, so no haste, no slow.
Yeah, there was a problem because I feel like, Francois wanted time but also wanted item, and couldn't really find the ability slot for both.
Mm-hmm. That's why I kind of stand by the idea of placing time on Lena before she sings. You can get the haste, get the slow out of the way, and then you can basically disable her for the rest of the fight. Because then time has served its purpose.
Another sort of unlucky situation for Francois, getting meteored right before a tree X-Step dies. And again, like you said, Mal, not having time and the ability to slow down the tree means that stuff like this can happen to you sometimes. Or you need to really know what you're doing in terms of the timing of your attacks.
Because now, unfortunately, Tree X-Death might get another turn. Luckily, can cure 3 with Lena.
Meteo the next turn as well here. It's going to be a close one. This should finish off the tree, I think. Yes. Okay.
All right.
So in good shape for phase 2. Everybody has max hit points.
Yeah, 2
but
guild
again,
tosses
we
right
only
off the bat.
we have one person who is hasted, and this time Lena is awake and not singing anymore, I guess. So silver lining of the Meteo, maybe?
Yeah. She'll be able to mimic the gill tosses from Galif and Ferris, so still be able to participate even though she doesn't have that ability equipped.
The question is, we don't have any more money, so we're probably going to run out of money again, leaving the back alive by itself, which is scary. So what is Francoise going to do to prevent that? It looks like
starting with Sildra.
by using using Sildra. Yeah. So if you use Sildra, it weakens the back, and then you should be able to win in only 6 gill tosses, and that should be enough to win the fight and finish the game.
Now, Alastair making the climb. Almost, like, very, very closely catching up, luckily because of the... lucky for them because of Francois' wipes. Though, still had that extra final boss to take care of.
Now, considering the speed of Francois' team, we are also expecting to see an Almagest, but everyone has full hit points, so at the moment, it looks like they will not die from that. Arrow 3 hurts. Alright, now Lena will die from the Almagest, but that's okay. Oh, we're using Cure 3. Alright, we're taking our time here on this fight. I would be just gill tossing and mimicking, but he's worried about running out of money, which is understandable because it happened before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're maybe a few gill tosses away. Ooh, Dispel, are we gonna care about that? Yeah. Oh, we are going to care about the Almagest damage and heal it back up. Alright. We are in danger of getting Grand Crossed here unless we try and end this quickly.
Oh, there's one phased, one part destroyed, and that's it.
GG.
GG from FrancoiseHarpie.
Official time is 2:40 and 54 seconds from the race time.
Let's see if they're going to join us here in just a moment. A few troubles on this last battle, but definitely found his way through to victory. And Freddy taking on... Alastair taking on Califasteri.
Yeah, so this, has turned out to be relatively close here. Callow is at the Twin Tanya location, which is the last required boss location before the final fight. But we also, of course, have to see how Alastair does in the final fight. Francois taking a few tries to win shows you that it's not a gimme. There's a lot to consider going into that fight to get your setup just right, so you get an easier win. And Callow is down. Alastair moving on to probably gonna go back and save and then set up for the final fight. I have given... I wonder if Francois has the ability to join us. I believe so, right, Freddy? Am I correct in that? I mean, he may be just taking a little break after the fight. Oh, you don't know. I'm just curious how the racers have been. Yeah, he's looking for an invite to SpeedGaming channel to talk with us. Unfortunately, okay, Freddy's gonna PM him, so we
Right.
can do that.
Right, Freddy had to declare the winner.
I see. There we go.
It's our growing pains. It's our second time here on Speed Gaming, so please, thank you for being patient with us.
Yeah, actually, things have gone really smoothly so far, so that was a minor hiccup. I don't even know how to do it myself, so thank you for your help behind the scenes.
All right, so now Francois has been invited. We're just going to wait for them to join us just a moment as Alastair is getting ready and set up for the final battle. Let's see if they have an easier time on the Tree X Death and Neo X Death battles. All right, let's see if Alastair opens those chests. They do. So we got that Brave Blade that we saw earlier. I didn't quite catch everything as we were discussing earlier.
Yeah. I was not watching Alastair's setup, but Alastair has shown pretty good knowledge of the final fight in past races, so I expect this to be a first try victory. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. I believe they still have a few summoners equipped. They didn't go full mimic.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty viable too. You could go full summoning with mimics if you wanted. It's just a little bit slower with the animations and the damage being a little lower. I think the issue right now is that for getting Francois to join us is that I don't think anyone has his the ability to DM him. But we're working on it. Oh, so Alastair also had someone who got white hold, but at least has the ability to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that
those
can
two
happen
summoners paying off.
Anybody, because a first turn white hole against someone who doesn't have immunity up yet is, sometimes you just can't avoid it, but it's nice to be able to recover from it. Okay, I see Francois in the setup chat, which is a good
Perfect.
start.
Well, let's see. Should be able to join us. Francois joining us here right now. GG, Francois.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hello, bonjour, and yeah, GG's to you. Do you have some overall thoughts on the seed for us?
Wow, that stalker spot was brutal.
Yeah, stalker spot.
Yeah.
Ooh, awful. 40,000 hit points at the trench and required. Yeah, very rough.
No, definitely. We did have a few questions for you. At some point earlier, when you decided to pick up the dancer, you kept the chicken knife on your knight, and I believe you equipped a brave blade or not, the Ragnarok on your dancer.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you didn't do it the other way around to have the chicken knife dance effect or runaway effect not trigger, or was it just a heat of the moment kind of thing?
No, it was just in order to not take some time to re-equip the weapons. There's no particular reason.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, fair enough. Yeah, it was. It got you through despite occasional failed attacks, but not a huge deal.
Yeah, one in four chances is still pretty low, so it's always a good weapon to use.
That's what I tell myself, and then every time that it happens, I get upset. But how about this final fight too? Getting the setup just right with mimics is kind of tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Luckily, you had the lead that it didn't matter. You got a few tries, and you worked your way through it, and you were also just a hair short on gold.
Yeah, I only needed two throws.
Yeah. So that was just a little unfortunate on the gold total. So you had to do some summoning in there to do some extra damage.
Yeah, the unfortunate Meteo at the end, just hitting all the right people if you're in X-Death's position.
But, the Meteo party wipe. But what about the, let's see, Mal and I were wondering, when you made the right decision to go to Barrier Tower and it paid off, did you feel like you were ahead or behind, or how did you feel at that point?
I felt far behind.
Oh, you did? You felt far behind even then?
Yeah, because I went to Steamship. This is the the biggest mistake in this seed. Actually, I lost track of my hands, and so I was going to Steamship without knowing it wouldn't be of use.
Well, actually, technically, you didn't know whether or not Steamship would be of use.
I knew we had that was hint. Barren.
Yeah, so we knew that Karnak was of no value, but the ship might have been still good, and you did find the ship in X-Death's castle, and we did have a hint that something in X-Death's castle was on the path to the void. So actually, I also had the same thought. I'm like, well, what if Steamship is actually the answer? And then you ended up checking it, but discovering that it was of no value in the end.
I'm glad that we got your perspective on that, because from our point of view, of course, we're watching both racers. You were doing your checks a little bit faster, and so going to the Steamship didn't really hurt you. You were sort of a little bit ahead already. And you definitely were the first person to go to Barrier Tower when lots of other checks were already available. So you were that was a move that put you into the lead solidly when you did that.
Okay, I see.
And that's a GG from Alastair.
GG's.
Right.
Let's see if they join us.
Alastair's time is officially 2:51:54, which is compared to yours. Let's see. I've lost track of the other one now. I think it was like 2:40. 2:40:54. So exactly 11 minutes apart.
Yeah, there were a few times where, it seemed like the lead was going back and forth, especially when was it the trench that people got a few issues? Well, actually,
trench was
trench.
Rough. Welcome to Alastair. GG's.
Hello.
GG, Alastair.
GG, Alastair.
As you may have heard, we were talking about how rude the trench was.
Yes.
Do you have thoughts on that?
I hate running into Stalker there.
Yeah, 40,000 hit points and just guess and check kind of fight. Takes quite a while, and it was definitely required. You had to do it.
Yep.
We were talking also with Francoise, who happened to check Barrier Tower earlier than you, and I think that was the biggest factor in the race.
Probably.
But overall, nicely done. When you have just that one tablet and no real direction, what do you do except finally start doing checks, right?
Yep.
So I can't really fault anything that either of you did at that point. It just became a guessing game, and whoever got lucky was going to have maybe an advantage in that way.
Just glad I didn't get the dreaded Baron burning with Fork Tower required.
Yes, that went through my mind when that hint popped up, and luckily didn't have to go there. I mean, there are definitely a number of slow check areas that people didn't go to, but Alastair, you actually went to the pyramid and full cleared that.
Yeah.
And there was a hint that mentioned the pyramid, so I don't blame you for checking that because it might be something and just turned out that it wasn't.
Yeah, and plus, with all the loot there, it's like, might as well check it.
Mm-hmm. Now, knowing we had received a hint that the bracelet was in World 2, and knowing that hint and that Exdeath's Castle was on the path to the void, did any of you have a fear that I'm going to have to go into the basement to find that bracelet in order to be able to progress?
I did, actually.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
Yeah. I had actually called that it was going to be the Hear You Call in order to in that basement, though I was kind of hoping that it would be the basement check bringing you to the Zeza fleet to get you the bracelet, but luckily for you, it led you to a different tablet, so you were able to basically salvage your hints that way and not lose a hint, lose multiple hints pointing to the same direction.
Yeah.
And I also think Hear You Valley, there was no hint at all for it, but it ended up being required and having the bracelet. So that one was sort of just a blind check that you had to do in World 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, at the time, I think maybe whoever went there first got into Exdeath Castle first, but I've already forgotten who that was.
Well, for this, I had actually the choice between Moor Forest, which was barren, and Hear You Valley, so the choice was made easily.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I last location the Hear You Valley.
Well, I believe you would have had the barrier tower as an option as well at the time.
Where was Subkey? It wasn't Subkey in Exdeath's Castle?
Let me just check my note
was
right
in
now.
World 1. Let me check where it was.
Meteor
located,
Tycoon.
Tycoon Meteor.
So yeah, you already had the subkey. So at that point, the options were either Zeza Fleet, Hear You Valley, or the barrier tower.
Yeah.
So in either way, I suppose it would have.
Tower is considered kind of slow, so going to Hear You Valley would probably have been the choice at that time anyway.
Right.
Hmm.
Though, had those choices been reversed, perhaps it would have made an even quicker seed, because then there wouldn't have been that search for it after going through the castle.
Yeah, that would have been interesting if someone had gone to Barrier Tower early and then had to only get the trench out of the way in World 3. Interesting.
Now, at the beginning, when you both entered the sealed castle, you ended up leaving with a different set of tools. Both of you took the X Magic and also
Running shoes.
No, not running shoes from there. It was
Oh no, one didn't.
the Ragnarok. But Francois ended up taking the chicken knife, while Alastair took Guild Toss right from the get-go. And both of those tools both served you pretty well, able to take on those multi-target enemies with the Guild Toss, and then the strong single attack with the chicken knife served Francois pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, I'd say that there was sort of, one runner might have an advantage against a certain boss based on what they took there, and then disadvantage against a different boss. So it kind of evened out. I don't think there was any big swing there based on the first things taken from the castle.
Yeah, I mean, I remember running into crystals early and being glad I had Guild Toss.
Yeah, well, that was one of the fights where Francois struggled. So that one was advantage for you, Alastair, and getting through that very quickly.
Yeah, you both ran pretty different groups as well. Francois sticking with knight heavy, an entire knight group at the beginning. Meanwhile, Alastair having the single knight with Time Mage and White Mage for the rest of the group. We'll start with Francois. What made you make that decision to go with all knights instead of spreading out the jobs? And yeah,
I was planning on getting high enough HP to survive most of the fight because I already had a slash, and I thought to myself, okay, I have slash, so if I am lucky enough to meet some bosses which are vulnerable to slash, I'm just going to bet on the slash chance and hope I can survive with enough HP.
Yeah, the high HP job helps you survive as you are rolling those slashes. So that's a fair point for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Alastair, on your side, what made you choose the beginning team composition that you did?
I'm trying to remember what I was thinking, because I went with the single Ragnarok Knight because it can level up for double grip and not handle most physical stuff. I guess just mage is mostly for support and shoat and golem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from our side looking in, we could definitely see that your team was definitely more versatile at that point, less blocked by the big physical enemies that might have caused Francois some issues, but it was honestly a really well balanced race. It was really entertaining to watch. You both did very well.
Glad you had some fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun seed. Everyone.
Sometimes it's I don't love to see a seed come down to who finds the right check first, and that was only part of this seed. There's definitely some other aspects to it as well. But that's just sort of the nature of randomizers too, and there's really not too much that can be done about it. I just like personally to see a seed where maybe you have a little bit more of a inkling of from the hints of maybe where to go for that final tablet. But that's kind of the main hurdle to overcome in many races, is getting that final tablet.
Mm-hmm. Now, Francois, this means you're moving forward into the winner's bracket. Your next opponent's going to be IB Karma. I believe that match is scheduled for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you will have a nice little rest next week.
Okay.
As the lower brackets catch up. Alastair, you are going to be going up against the winner of the match that's currently going on right now between Garlisle and Windfox. How do you... we'll start with Francois. How do you feel about your next match with Karma?
I'm pretty tense. to say the least.
Yeah, I would be tense going against Karma as well. He's been very impressive in all of his races so far.
Yeah. I was going to say so far undefeated, but you as well, Francois. So this is battle of the leaders right now.
Don't be too tense, because even if you lose, you're not out of the tournament. This is double elimination, and you just got to go for it, I think, at this point.
That's true.
And Mel, I'm sorry, did you say who Alastair will be going against?
It's the winner of between the match between Garlisle and Windfox. So that's undecided because that is going on right now on Randomania.
Yeah, and I was wondering if we're supposed to keep SpeedGaming within the SpeedGaming family for our raid, or whether we're allowed to raid over there. I don't know the answer. But if people want to see more Career Day, I guess we'll just tell you that over on Randomania there is another Career Day match. Or you can stay here and see lots more cool stuff going on SpeedGaming. The schedule has been posted in the chat. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to add before we move on?
Don't think so.
All right, well, let me just say again, thank you to SpeedGaming for hosting our upper round bracket races. Thanks to the racers for providing this entertainment for us. Thank you to folks behind the scenes, our trackers, and do everything else, guys. Ben Freddy, and we also had some help from Drosy early on getting us going on the restream. Did I leave anyone out, Mal?
Well, you left yourself for sure, so thank you.
I left
Dry.
you out too. Sorry, some people did commentary too.
Yeah, a couple of dudes did some commentaries. Thanks, Dry, for being my co-commentator. That would have been that would have been a dry throat after that one. There was lots to talk about.
Always fun hanging out with you, Mel. So yeah, that was a good time for me as well.
All right, and on that note, thanks everybody for stopping by, and hopefully your interest you keep interested in Final Fantasy V Career Day, and come check us out.
All right, see you next time.